Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. It's Thursday night, and that could only mean one thing. You landed on another ship, on a planet of the planet ships. And of course, the mothership of all motherships you've landed on is the Wrestling Experience. Tonight, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. We're going to rewind Clash in the Paris. And we got some wrestling stories that I'm going to get to. All of that here tonight. Tonight on the Wrestling Experience. And thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for all the likes, all of the views, all the subs, and everything else that's in between. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for your support because without you, I can't do this without you. So, again, thank you for coming in. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the mothership. It's Thursday, and that could only be one thing. It's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience. All right, folks, welcome back to the experience. Make sure that you smack down the like button and you subscribe and you share because when you share, you care. And thank you again for coming in tonight to the experience. And again, I want to welcome you all to this extravaganza. So here's what's on the docket here tonight for you. Here's what's on the docket. We're gonna rewind Clash in the Paris. We're gonna discuss Dynamite, and I got some wrestling stories to close the evening for you. And don't forget, tomorrow night I'll be live. I wasn't gonna do it, but I decided to do it. Tomorrow night we're going to bring you Friday Night SmackDown. Tomorrow night we're going to be doing Friday Night SmackDown. I'll be on the air at 7:50 for Friday Night SmackDown. I hope that you'll tune in to that telecast. Again, thank you so much for watching, and let's get into it. All right, folks, let's talk about this. Clash in the Paris. Clash in the Paris. Took place on Sunday, August 31st, and it was an afternoon delight, PLE at 2 p.m. Final broadcast on Peacock, cable home and satellite provider, and that was WWE's final telecast on Peacock. However, NXT will remain on Peacock, and so will Saturday night's main event. So the WWE footprint is not moving anywhere. La Defense Arena in Paris, the largest indoor arena around, hosted Clash in the Paris, and they also did Monday Night Raw. So let's talk about this. John Cena versus Logan Paul. The match was fine. The match was okay. Cena and Logan Paul brought out the best in both of them. They really brought out the best in each other. And the match was hard hitting. The match was all right. And I'm gonna say this. I'll say this again, and I'll keep saying this over and over again. Um, Logan Paul's athleticism in the ring is nothing short of sensational. Here's the word I'm going to use: sensational. His wrestling is sensational, but here's the thing. As a person, I'm not a fan of him. Not a fan of him. I'm a fan of his wrestling. I think he can wrestle. That's not an issue. That's not an issue. And what I was really happy about is that John Cena won clean in the match. There was no shenanigans, which I was very happy about to see. I was very happy to see that because, as you know, Logan Paul likes to cheat with those stupid brass knuckles, and that to me would have been a miscarriage of justice to John Cena. I did not want to see that happen. I did not want to see his goofy handlers going there and giving him a brass knuckle and him cheating to win over Cena because I didn't want to see that. But we didn't get it. And thank God we didn't get it. So Cena wins the match. Logan Paul took Cena to its limit with his athleticism. He dazzled everybody in the ring with his moves and the way he was trying to neutralize Cena in the match. The two of them went back to back with each other. And again, like I said, I didn't have an issue with the match. I really didn't. I really didn't have an issue with the match. I thought the match was crisp. I thought it was good. It had good fluidity to it. Both men really and truly brought out. I think Cena brought the best out of Logan Paul. This was probably one of the goodest. I don't know if that's a word, but I just used it. Goodest. Um, it was probably one of the goodest matches I've seen in a while from Logan Paul. This probably was the best Logan Paul match to date. I think this was the best Logan Paul match I've seen to date, and I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the honest truth, folks. This was good. Cena brought out Logan Paul and brought him out. He did, and again, like I said before, I'll say it again. Um, the match was fine. Now, on an entertainment level, I'm gonna get this match an 8. The match gets an 8. The match gets an 8 because I liked it. I really, really liked it. I had no issues with it. None whatsoever. None. All right. So that was that match. All right. Roman Reigns took on Bronson Reed. The match was fine. The match was all right. Bronson Reed came out of the curtain with the Shula Fala, and he had the Shula Fala around his neck, and he was walking around with Roman sneakers around his neck, and he came out with Paul Heyman. What happened after the match was heinous, absolutely heinous and out of control, and it was just all over the place. So Roman went after Big Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed really and truly hold his own in the match. He really tried to neutralize Roman. He did on several occasions, splashing him and getting him in the corner and really and truly going after Roman. But Roman had intestinal fortitude and he really wanted to go after Bronson Reed. And he did. He did. He went after Bronson Reed. In the end, when the smoke was cleared, Roman won the match. Roman won the match, and I was happy about that. What I was not happy about was what happened afterwards. So Roman gets his Shula Fala back. He gets the Shula Fala back. He gets the shoes back. He's sitting there writing. He's sitting up there autographing the shoes. He tosses the shoes in the audience, and he was about to finish up when all of a sudden Braun Breaker comes out at a next speed and spears Roman off the broadcast table. The melee then ensued. The mugging ensued. And what we got, folks, was Roman have several cracked ribs and for him to be out on the shelf indefinitely. So And but Roman did get some semblance of revenge when he choked out Heyman, and that sparked the onslaught from Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Heyman was choked out, and he got a crushed larynx. He got a crushed larynx. Roman gave him a crushed larynx and a crushed vocal cord, and Heyman got what he got. He got what he got, and Roman choked the mess out of Heyman. He choked the mess out of Heyman, and yeah, and that's what happened. Chris, how's it going? AEW sucks. Well, I understand that, Chris, and thank you for your comment, Chris. Make sure you hit the like button, Chris. Thank you. And let's see what else we got. Chris says, wow, had better ratings than AEW Dynamite, as TBS WCW Nitro had better ratings than AEW's Collision. Yeah, I can see that, Chris. I could see that. Again, Chris, thank you for your comment. Welcome aboard. Chris says AEW deserves to be canceled. No, I don't. I disagree with that. I disagree. I'm an old school wrestling, Mid South wrestling, and world class champion wrestler, and Jim Crockett. Well, yeah, I'm old school too, Chris. I'm old school. I'm old school. I'm old school too. I'm old school, and I grew up on the golden age of wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan for 3 decades, Chris. I know what you're talking about. I know a lot of people when they're old school wrestling fans, they they're set in their ways and they like those old ways of wrestling. But we have to evolve with the times. We are in a result oriented world, and everybody needs a competition now and then. And I listen, AEW is not perfect, and neither is WWE. So, but both organizations doing their best right now. My favorite tag team were the Diamond Doodle Chris and the Rock. Yeah, well, I like the Rock and Roll Express. I'm not sure about the other tag teams. I've never. Yeah. AEW disrespected Hulk Hogan's legacy, not paying tribute to Hogan. What a slapping! Yeah, well, yes, I thought that was very disrespectful too, Chris. I thought that was very disrespectful. I thought that was very disrespectful. But they did say something. Tony Schiavone finally did say something on the broadcast. He did say it. He did say it. Um, if it wasn't for AEW, Hogan wouldn't have made wrestling the way it is. I agree. I agree with that, Chris. I agree with that. I agree with your assessment. Tony Khan doesn't belong in wrestling. Well, there are some things Tony Khan has done, but we're not talking about Tony Khan right now. I'll talk about Tony Khan in a minute when I review AEW Dynamite. But let's get back to what I was talking about before. But thank you very much, Chris, for your comments. I greatly appreciate it. Um, don't forget to hit the like button, Chris, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so Roman Reigns choked out Paul Heyman. He choked out Paul Heyman in the match, and Heyman suffered a crush on vocal cords, and he's going to be out for a while. But Roman will be out as well. Big Bronson Reed, and of course Braun Breaker really and truly did a number on Roman and after the match was over. Um, so on an entertainment level, on an entertainment level, I'm gonna give this match. I'll give the match a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it. The match gets a 7, and it was good for what it was until the end. Everybody played their part well in the match. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Liked it, and yeah. So that was the match. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, and I gave the match a 7. Okay. All right. And let's see. Let's go back to the chat and see what Chris is talking about. Jen Tyler should be in Raw. Okay. Oops. Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed should have won. No, I understand that. I understand that, Chris. I understand you wanted Bronson Reed to win the match, but this was a revenge tour for Roman, and he finally got his just dessert after being attacked so many multiple times by Reed and of course Braun Breaker, and this was a coming out party for Roman. Unfortunately, Reed and Bronson Reed and them had other ideas. Um, Tommy T, how's it going, Tommy? Hit the like button, Tommy. Hey, Earl. Hi, Tommy. How's it going? How is it going? Won't watch SmackDown. Okay, Tommy. All right. All right. Good. Okay, good. I'm glad that you're good. Okay, thank you so much, Tommy, for coming into the chat. Um, all right. So let's just move on. Let's just move on. The WWE Tag Team Championships were up for grabs. The Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits. This was the Wyatt Six debut. This was the Wyatt Six debut in France, and it was this match was good. The WWE is teasing a split of the Street Profits. They're teasing a split. Yeah, there was a little tension between the Street Profits going into this match, and I don't know about splitting them up. I don't know if that's the correct way to go at this point. I'm still trying to be on the fence with that. I don't know if that's the right avenue you should travel on. If you want to break up the profits. I mean, they've been around for a vastly long time, and who would you make heel and who would you make babyface? That's a great question. Um, Tommy Tommy says, I'll be at the Elkin Valley tomorrow, so I won't be able to watch SmackDown. Oh, okay, Tommy, enjoy that. Enjoy that. And Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez should regain the tag team belts. Well, we're gonna have to see about that, Chris. Does Liv Morgan talk to Roxanne and Raquel still? I believe so. I believe so. I think they're all talking with each other. Um, as you know, Liv is still out with a shoulder injury after she had to have surgery, and they are working on her right now. I believe she's rehabbing, so she will be back. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say probably next year. Probably sometime we'll see Liv again on WWE TV, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right. So let's get back to this tag team match. The Street Profits and the Wyatt Six. Again, the match was fine. The match was fine for what it was, and I, the Wyatt Six remain champions. I didn't suspect that. The Profits are already champions. Wyatt Six needs a lengthy reign as champions, so it all worked. It all worked in the end, and the Wyatt Six remain WWE Tag Team Champions. I thought it was a fun tag team match. I thought it was a great tag team encounter. So I'm going to give this match on an entertainment level. I'll give the match a 7 too. I'll give the match a 7, and it was the best thing I can do for it. It was great chemistry, great nuance in the match, and everybody played their part well in the match. So this was great. Um, let's go back to the chat. Chris says Bianca Belair doesn't need the fans. Well, yeah, well, I think every superstar. I disagree with that. Um, I think every WWE superstar needs fans. Everybody needs fans. And Bianca has them, and those little girls who look up to her. Those are her fans. Those are her fans, and that's who she looks up to. Chris. And Chris says Bianca Belair needs to turn heel. She is being held back. I don't know about that, Tommy. I did discuss that. Tommy did. Nah. I hit the like button, so I'm gonna see you later, Earl. Peace. Okay, Tommy. Goodbye. See you later. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, Tommy. Thanks for coming in. Um. Bianca Belair shouldn't be a back. Yeah, I we discussed that, Chris, and unfortunately, she can't turn heel because of the kids and who looks up to her. The kids look up to Bianca Belair, so because of that, she can't turn heel. She can't turn heel. We discussed that on a previous show on the Wrestling Experience. We did discuss that on the show, and I said that she can't turn heel. She can't turn heel, and it's just not conducive. It, the kids look up to her. It would confuse things if you switched her to heel. So right now she's a top baby face in the company, and that's good enough. That's good. The kids like her, and she is revered by everyone. So I like AEW when they had Battle of the Belts. Oh yeah, well yeah, that was another show that I like. Yeah, that was a show that really didn't go over well with the audience. They tried. I like AEW when CM Punk was the flagship. Yeah, well, CM Punk caused a lot of drama in AEW, Chris, and that was the reason why was let go. That was the reason why he was let go. Um, okay, so let's move on, folks. The Women's Intercontinental Championship. It was Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. Well, this wasn't the end of Becky Lynch for the night. No, I'll explain that in a minute. But Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, I thought the match was fine. The match was fine for what it was. Both women really brought out each other. There was one point in the match I thought Nikki Bella was going to win the Intercontinental Championship, but that was not meant to be. Becky Lynch found the way to put down Nikki and retain the championship. So she still remains the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. And that's great. But you know something? Speaking of the Intercontinental Champion, what happened to the men's Intercontinental Champion? What's going on with that? Hardly on WWE TV, hardly defended. What is going on with the men's Intercontinental Champion? I mean, what is happening with that? I'm kind of concerned for that. And the belt is not being prominent on TV. Neither is the champion. So I don't understand what's happening here and what's going on and why WWE is not putting their best foot forward and defending that intercontinental men's intercontinental championship. I don't understand that. I'm at a loss. Um, I like your show. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I greatly appreciate it. I like a yeah. Okay. Um. So yeah. So like I said, getting back to the men's intercontinental championship, what happened to what's going on with the championship? What's happening with that? I don't see it on TV. I don't see they mention the intercontinental champion. I don't see them doing anything with the belt. So I'm like, what's happening here? You're focused more on the women intercontinental champ, but what about the men? What happened to the men? What happened? There's a lot of men in that locker room that would like to become intercontinental champion, but it's not being defended. I don't see it defended yet on a PLE. I don't even remember the last time the intercontinental championship was up for grabs. I can't even remember. It's been so long. I don't know why they're not pulling the trigger on it. It's bananas. It's bananas. Okay, well, I'm going to investigate that and I'm going to find out why. I'm going to find out why. Um, let's see. AEW is taking advantage of New Japan Pro Wrestling, not giving anything back. Well, I don't know about that. They do have that joint production called the Forbidden Door, Chris. And that's what AEW is giving back to New Japan. They're mixing the stars of AEW and the stars of New Japan. And they created this show called the Forbidden Door. And they added this past week, this past month. And yeah. Okay. What else? AEW, yeah. Okay. Lucha Libre is the west of Mexico. Yep, absolutely. Okay, thank you for your comments, Chris. Thank you for all your comments. All right. So getting back to the Intercontinental Women's Championship, Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. I thought the match, like I said, the match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. I mean, yeah, so that was good. So on the entertainment level, I'm gonna give this match. I'll give the match another 7. I'll give the match another 7. This was 3 sevens in a row. Not bad. And the match was fine for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance. Everybody played their part well in the match. All right. We had a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus versus Rusev. Final encounter. I love it. WWE is not sanctioning any more matches between him and Rusev. I am very happy about that. This old-fashioned Donnybrook match turned into a shocker because Rusev wins the match. He won his first old-fashioned Donnybrook match. He downed Sheamus, which I was completely shocked about that because I had said in my prediction Sheamus would have went over Rusev in this match, but WWE had other ideas, and they gave the edge and the nod to Rusev, and Rusev wins the match. He wins the match, and nothing I could say about it. I'm hoping that this is the last time we'll see Rusev and Sheamus mix it up because we've seen it too many times already and it's overplayed. And that's something you don't want to have happen right now. You don't need an overplayed storyline. Okay. So on an entertainment level, I'll give the match. I'll bump it down. I'll give the match a six. The match gets a six, and that, but it was still entertaining. It was an entertaining, hard hitting, physical affair type of a match. But I'll still give it a six. The match gets a six, and like I said, everybody played their part well in the ring. Every chemistry was good. They brought out the best in one another. Um, Sheamus took Rusev to the limit, but in the end, when the smoke was cleared, Rusev is your winner of the good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Um, King, King, how's it going tonight? Hit the like button, King, and thank you for coming into the chat. King says Rusev Sheamus feud was too long. I agree. I agree. I agree, King. I agree. It was too long. It was way too long, and we don't need to see this again. We don't need to see this again. This is great. Let's put this to bed. And thank you, King, for doing that. Thank you for dropping the like. And thank you so much. And don't forget, everyone, smack down the like button. Smack down the like button and subscribe and share. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to give the match a six. The match gets a six. The match gets a six. The match gets a six, and we roll on. All right. All right, folks. Here we go with the main event of Clash of Champions. It was the fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. And Rollins is the champion, by the way. All right. In this match, we add an edict laid down by General Manager Adam Pearce. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were tossed out of the building, which means Eamon was injured. He was sent to the hospital. These two were tossed out of the building, which means that this was going to be the first time in a vastly long time Rollins comes out alone. Rollins comes out alone. But ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to the promo or the interview that Rollins gave Jackie Redmond, he said he always has a plan A, a plan B, and C. Well, he had all of that in his back pocket. Okay, so the match was physical all over the place. All four of these men were just trying to tee off on one another and try to neutralize one another. First, they went after Rollins. They went in unison to go after Rollins. Take Rollins out of the equation at times, and they would take on each other to get the belt. A lot of false finishes in this match. I had thought one time that Knight was going to win the match, and another time Punk was going to win the match. But let's just say the spade of spades here. This match wasn't clean. The match wasn't clean because the match was no disqualification, no count out in a fatal four-way, which means the person in black that rolled out of the ring could interfere in the match, and they did. And it was revealed to be Becky Lynch, Rollins' husband, Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch. Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch, rolls in the ring and hit him in, she hit Punk where the sun doesn't shine in the Big Ben. She hits him in the Big Ben. And Rollins stomps the mess out of Punk, and Punk gets pinned by Rollins for the third straight time. This is the third time Punk got pinned by Rollins. Rollins pinned Punk at WrestleMania. Rollins pinned Punk at SummerSlam, and now he pinned him at the Clash of Champions. So, I mean, this was just, Clash in Paris, excuse me. So, this Punk just cannot seem to have good luck with Rollins. He's in the match, he eats the pin. He's in the match with Rollins, he eats the pin. He's in the match with Rollins and he eats the pin. So every time Punk's in the match with Rollins, you're going to bet your bottom dollar he's eating the pin. Bet your bottom dollar, bet your by golly wow, he is going to eat the pin. So Rollins pins Punk to retain the title, and retain he did. Next night on Raw, CM Punk comes out. He calls out Rollins. What he got instead is Becky Lynch. She said all the years that she's been in the WWE, and while he was gone, they were chanting your name. So apparently, she got frustrated and she got angry at Punk. She wanted to drink the same Kool-Aid as her husband about Punk. She didn't like Punk. None of the both of them didn't like Punk. Becky Lynch then started berating him, smacking him, and everything else. Smacked him and everything else. So now everybody's on the internet. Everybody's on the internet. All the podcasters, all of the social media platforms are talking about AJ Lee. AJ Lee coming back to WWE, Punk's wife coming back to WWE and challenging Becky Lynch and Rollins to a mixed tag at WrestlePalooza. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I cannot for the life of me get on the same bandwagon as everybody else. I can't, because you don't know if this is a tease. You don't know if this is a tease. They could be teasing you. WWE is very infamous in teasing something and not follow through on it. Because a lot of people will go there and set themselves up for this big expectation, and then WWE takes the air out of that expectation balloon and gives you something else. So rather than setting up yourself for disappointment, sit back and see what happens. Sit back and see what happens. I'm going to be doing Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night from Rosemont, Illinois, and the Allstate Arena. Now, Punk's going to be there. I know Punk's going to be there. So everybody's in there. Everybody's buying up the tickets, and they're buying the tickets and everything else. They want to see AJ Lee come out so that the place can explode. So that's what WWE is doing right now. They're hyping up this AJ Lee thing, and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not going to jump on any bandwagon until I see her come out and skipping down that aisle on SmackDown, and she comes out and she cuts a promo. When she do all of that, then I will believe it. Until then, I am not going to do anything like that. I will see tomorrow night at 7:50 when we go on the air for SmackDown, and I see her on the telecast. When I see her on the telecast, then I will jump the bandwagon, but not now. Because this is WWE. This is who you're dealing with. And they love to tease. They love to play peekaboo with you at times. They have a track record of doing that. They'll say one thing, but then they'll flip the script and say another thing. So I'm not going to jump up and down about it. Not going to jump up and down until I see something concrete and it's fruitable evidence. then okay, then I'll join everybody else. Oh gosh, AJ Lee is here. Da, 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 da. We're gonna get this match at WrestlePalooza, but not now. Not now. Not gonna get myself worked up. Not gonna get myself worked up until I see it come to in fruition. That's the only way how I roll. I can't be like everybody else. I can't talk about it like everybody else. Everybody wants to sit down and talk about her, and they want her back, and everybody wants to snap up those $6,500 seats at ringside so they can scream their lungs out when she comes, or if she comes to the curtain. And I understand that because Punk is going to be there and he's going to show up on Raw. I mean, on SmackDown, excuse me, he was on Raw. He's going to show up on SmackDown, excuse me. Because Punk is showing up on SmackDown, everybody automatically always going to bring out the what? How do you know that? How do you know he won't bring out Rhea Ripley? How do you know he won't do that? How do you know he won't do that? But if, like I said, if AJ Lee comes out, fine. I'll jump for joy. I'll jump for joy. As you all know, the fans were chanting for AJ Lee on Raw, and Becky said she don't work here anymore. That could be a sign too. That could be a sign that she may come out of that curtain tomorrow night. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We will see. All right. So getting back to the match, I'm gonna give the main event of Clash in Paris. I'll give this an 8. I'll give this an 8. The match gets an 8. Jeffrey, how's it going tonight? Happy Thursday to you, Jeffrey. Hit the smack down the like button. Smack down the like button. Yeah. I gave it a B. I gave it a B. Yeah. No, what I was talking about was the main event of the show, Jeffrey, when you came in. So, on an entertainment level, folks, I'm going to give the main event of Clash in Paris. I'll give this a 7. The match gets a 7. The match gets a 7. And that's the best I can do for it. That main event was something else. I didn't care for but like I said before, I said again, I'm not jumping on the AJ Lee bandwagon. I'm not jumping on that unless I see her come out on SmackDown tomorrow night, which I'll be on the air at 7:50. When I see her come out, then I will make that judgment. Yeah, the match gets a 7, Jeffrey. The match gets a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it. That is the best I can do for it. All right, folks, that was Clash in the Paris. And as a show as a whole, I gave the show as a whole a B. The show got a B, and that was the best I can do for it. The show got a B, folks. The show got a B. All right, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this for a second. WrestlePalooza. WrestlePalooza is happening on Saturday night, the 20th of September at 7 p.m. in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right. We also have All Out, AEW's All Out, which now is going to start at 3 p.m. Now, in July, when we did All Out in Texas, and we did Saturday night's main event in the same day in July, back in July, I did AEW, and I had to do Saturday night's main event in progress. So what I decided to do this time around is the following. I'm going to broadcast for you all WrestlePalooza. I am going to call the matches for WrestlePalooza. Once WrestlePalooza is over, we will then transition into AEW's All Out in Toronto, the encore presentation. I am going to give you the encore presentation of the show. And that is what I'm going to do. And I have decided that is what I'm going to. So I'm going to give you two shows in one stream again, just like I did in July. Just like I did in July. But this time I'm going to flip flop it. I'm gonna flip flop it because WWE is making their debut on ESPN, and I gotta check this out. I gotta see about the kinks and how it works and everything else. So I'm gonna give you WrestlePalooza first, and then we're gonna transition into AEW's All Out in Toronto, and I'll give you those matches. And that's what I'm gonna do. Um. Jeffrey says, TK, let me put my show on early. Yes. That debut on ESPN is going to be a big deal. Absolutely, Jeffrey. And that's why I can't miss it. That's why I cannot miss it. That's why I cannot miss it. So, again, folks, this is what's going to happen. On Saturday, the 20th of September, we're going to have two big wrestling shows on that day. AEW's All Out in Toronto and WWE's debut on ESPN with WrestlePalooza. I'm going to do WrestlePalooza first. Then, when WrestlePalooza is over, we will then transition into All Out in Toronto. I'll give you those matches. We will be watching the encore presentation of that, and I'll give you the matches as they are taking place. So that is what's going to happen. Can't wait to see the stage. Yeah, well, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting. You you know Pat McAfee is going to be all over that in his hometown. Yep. And from what I read somewhere, Pat will be doing the broadcast, I think, from Indianapolis. I think they asked Pat to do it, and I think he has agreed to do it. So him and Michael Cole will probably call the matches while they're sitting in Indianapolis for WrestlePalooza because right now Pat McAfee is very busy right now with football as football begins and everything. Pat's on assignment and he hasn't been doing Raw for the past couple of months. So um so that's probably what's gonna happen. So the folks, that's what's gonna happen on the 20th of September. That is what's happening on the 20th of September. Okay. All right, folks. Let's talk about this for a second, and then we'll get to some wrestling news. Give me a second, folks. Jeffrey said, "Yeah, I'm excited too for WWE. I'm excited. I can't wait." All right, folks, let's talk about this. AEW Dynamite. Let's rewind Dynamite, folks. I'm going to give you some of the stuff, the highlights of what's happening on the show. Last night, AEW continued their residency at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is still being protested by stagehands and other media outlets for AEW's handling of their contract. Um, but last night they still had the show. The show was solid. This was a good Dynamite. I have to admit this was a good Dynamite. This has to be a good Dynamite. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Darby Allen and Nick Gage got into it last night. This was absolutely woolly, wild, all over the place. Yes, yep, they're still protesting. Um, this was just absolutely. Nick Gage and Darby Allin were really getting into it last night, and this was just yeah. Darby Allin was all over Dynamite last night. He certainly was. This wasn't the end of Darby Allin. Darby Allin, what's going on with Darby Allin? Okay, let me explain something to you. He wants a match with John Moxley. Why? I don't know. I don't know what, because if you saw what Moxley did to Darby Allin's ear, in the cage, in the cage, I don't know why Darby Allin wants a piece of Moxley, but anyway, he wants it. Moxley doesn't want to fight him. Moxley doesn't want to touch him at all. So he goes after Gage. Gage and him have a wild brawl to kick off Dynamite. It was an absolute wild. It was wild. This was I lost my breath calling this. I mean, this was just absolutely wild. And Darby Allin put Gage in a body bag and began to drag him away. So he dragged him away when he put him in the body bag. So he put him in a body bag and dragged him away. That was the end of Gage for the night. Yeah, it was chaos last night. It was absolutely chaos. I mean, the the train went off the tracks at this point. I mean, this was just crazy. Okay, we had that going on. We had that going on. I'm gonna give the opening segment of Dynamite. I'm gonna give that. I'm on entertainment level. I'm gonna give that match a 10. The segment gets a 10. The opening segment gets a 10 because this was. Jeffrey said put him in a body bag last night like the Undertaker. Darby Allin channeled his inner Undertaker and dragged Gage away in a body bag. Okay, so we had that on an entertainment level. On the entertainment level, I give the segment a 10. The segment got a 10 because it was very. Darby Allin is vicious. He's like a little chihuahua, and when he bites you, he just won't let go. He won't let go. He won't. And he is relentless until he gets what he wants. And he wants Moxley. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a smart idea after what he put you through in the on the last pay-per-view. But in any event, folks, um, we're gonna monitor this and we're gonna let you know. Um, yeah, that's what he said. Give me what I want. All right, so that was that segment. That was that segment. I gave the segment a 10. I gave the segment a 10. The segment got a 10. This was a wild way to kick off Dynamite. Then we had the TBS Championship. The TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné took on Alex Windsor. The CEO remained the TBS Championship, but hold the phone. Here came Rio. Rio came in and she shocked 9 belts Monet, and now they're gonna mix it up at All Out in Toronto. Again, like I said, there's no build for this, man. There's no build to this at all. Rio is coming back and she wants the TBS championship and she's gonna take on Mercedes. Um I forgot Rio was still yeah, well, I did too. Rio comes in and she really and truly laid waste to Mercedes and she wants that TBS championship and Tony Khan granted it for her. She wanted the match, she's got it at All Out in Toronto. Okay. Now, the match itself between her and Windsor, it was a fun match. This was a good match. They almost went to a time limit draw. This was probably Mercedes' best match to date. Probably. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but this was a match. Um There's no build whatsoever. She didn't. She didn't even earn it. No, she didn't. That's what I'm saying. She didn't earn it. She just came in. She stomped on. She stomped on Mercedes. She shocked Mercedes. I thought that they were going to not pull the trigger so fast on it and build on that, and then make the audience marinate on it. No, that's not what AEW want. They want quick, fast. Okay, you want the title? Okay, great. We got a title match at all. I wouldn't do it like that. Not as a wrestling fan like that. I believe in long term. I believe in long term storytelling. That's what I grew up on. It was yeah. I agree. Let Rio earn it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, it was a good match. It was good. It was good for what it was. It was good for what it was. So on entertainment level, I give the match a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it. And again, like I said, Rio will take on Mercedes at All Out in Toronto, and that is official. All right, let's let's fast forward here. Ricochet, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony got on the television and they challenged the Hurt Syndicate for a trios match at All Out in Toronto. Now there's a build for this. There, yeah, 7.5. Oh, that's a good rating, Jeffrey. I'll accept that. So Ricochet's team wants to take on the Hurt Syndicate. Um, MVP at Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Well, they cost the Hurt Business the tag team belts at the last pay per view. So now MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin want revenge, and I think they're going to get it at All Out in Toronto. Now that's a build. That's a build because they interfered in the match for some reason, and of course Ricochet was talking like he's Seth Rollins, and his crew. That's the way Ricochet was talking last night. They have no originality. But anyway, I digress. Mm. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, Ricochet and his goons. Yeah. So Ricochet and the Hurt Business accepted the challenge at no originality. Nope, nope, they don't. Um, so the match is on. The match is official. So we got another match added to All Out in Toronto. All right. So the trios match is official. The Hurt Syndicate will take on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. All right. So that was it. So we had those two matches added to the card already. Okay, let's continue. FTR was in the ring and they interrupted Edge and Christian. Edge and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage were in the ring and they were about to cut a promo. FTR came down and all hell broke loose. This was another wild brawl. This was another wild brawl, folks. This brawl was absolute. Dax Harwood was busted open. These four men cannot wait to touch one another and get each other in that ring. And get in the ring they will on Saturday the 20th, Saturday afternoon the 20th of September. All Out in Toronto is official, and these men are going to mix it up for the first time ever. It was great. Um, Jeffrey says Dax Harwood was busted. Yes, that's right. He was busted open. Ricochet's group better call his group the Vision Two. I agree with that. Yeah, Dax got busted open the hard way, and I can't wait to. I think this match is going to be a banger. I think this match is good. FDR and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. I think this match is gonna be a banger. I have a funny feeling this match is gonna be a banger. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it. Tony Storm makes an appearance. Tony Storm makes an appearance, and she wants a challenger for her AEW championship. Well, I had thought and I had said that maybe Monet would have came out and challenged her for a rematch, but Monet's busy with Riho, so that's not happening. Um, so I'm not sure. That's what happens when you piss off Edge and quit. Yep, that's what happens. So I'm not sure who's gonna be the number one contender for um Tony Storm's title. Mark Briscoe defeated Lance Archer last night. I thought the match was fine. I gave the match on an entertainment level. I gave the match a 6. Match got a 6, and that was the best I can do for it. Gabe Kidd was kidnapped by Darby Allin last night. Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin mixed it up in the opening segment. I gave the segment a 10 because it was entertaining. Mark Briscoe versus Lance Archer. I gave the match a 6. Match got a 6. Bro Dito took on the Death Riders. Another fun tag team match. Another fun tag team match. Let's see. Who do you think is going to face Tony Storm? Well, that's a great question, Jeffrey. I just so I mean, here's one thing though. I mean, they could push Megan Bain. Megan Bain has been good so far, and I wouldn't put it past AEW if they gave her the nod. I think Megan Bain would be somebody that you might want to push in that direction. There are certain women that have been out of the landscape, like Serena Deeb. That's another one that I could see getting the title shot, getting the nod. Serena Deeb, but I think Megan Bain would be good. They face Megan Bain, or okay, so that's no good. Okay, well I'm not quite sure, Jeffrey. I'm not quite sure what AEW is thinking at this point. And who would be the number one contender? That's I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure about that. You say Tekla. That's a good one. Tekla. But is she? But here's a question, Jeffrey. If I don't know if Tekla is ready for a championship match. I don't know if she's ready for a championship match of that caliber. I don't know about that. I don't know. The reason why I don't know. Tekla just came on the scene, and Megan has been around a while, and that's the only reason why I said that. But we'll see. But that's interesting. You said that. That you said Tekla. Okay, Brodito took on the Death Riders for the AEW Tag Team Championships. The match was fine. The match was all right. Darby Allin interfered in the match, and oh yeah, that is that. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it is true. It's true. Tekla just came here, and Megan Bain would work because she's been around a while and she's had plenty of matches under her belt. So I would assume that you would want to give a vote of thumbs up. All right. Brodito defended the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Death Riders. The match was fine. I gave the match a 6. The match got a 6, and it was good for what it was. Okay, we talked about that. And what happened to Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega at the end of Dynamite was just heinous. Don Callis and his family. Yeah, Darby was all over the show. Yes, he was. And in the main event of Dynamite, the Don Callis family um wins over Jet Speed and the AEW champion Hangman Adam Page. What happened after the match was completely heinous. The Don Callis family laid waste to Omega and the AEW champion. So I'm going to assume that Hangman is going to call out any member of the Don Callis family to take them on at All Out in Toronto for the title. I'm not sure who that's going to be, but it should be interesting. Uh, and you forgot the Ops and Hook segment. Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. I'll talk about that in a minute, Jeffrey. But getting back to the Don Callis family, getting back to the Callis family, I have a feeling Heyman's gonna call somebody out next week. The title is gonna be up for grabs. The title's gonna be up for grabs. And so that was the segment. That was the main event. I thought the main event was Willie Wild and all over the place. And I'm going to give the match a 7. The match gets a 7. The match gets a 7. I would have did it more, but after what Don Callis and his family did to Hangman and Omega, I was disgusted. I was disgusted. And I couldn't deal with it. So I had to lower the entertainment level. Yeah, Don Callis and his group were disgusting. Yeah, they were. Yes, they were. They were absolutely disgusting. All right, folks. All right, folks. Let's talk about the Ops segment for a second. The Ops and Hook segment. The Ops were backstage. Hook comes out and interrupts Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. He comes out and he wants to know why was he kicked out of the Ops. Well, Samoa Joe says that he was blamed me. I was the one that made the call. Opportunity came knocking. Samoa Joe made the call. He put in Powerhouse Hobbs because Hook was injured and he was laid out and laid out for a while. So the trios titles were up for grabs. They needed a third person to go after the Death Riders, and they did. And they won the titles. They won the titles. And Hook says, he's visibly upset, and rightfully so. He was kicked out unceremoniously out of the Ops. So um, Hook doesn't trust Samoa Joe. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't trust Samoa Joe, and that's what I'm alluding to. He doesn't trust them anymore. So I think that relationship is done and over with. I think Hook is going to be on his own, and the and the Ops are just going to continue to be the Ops at this point. All right. So that was that segment. That was the segment. So that was the segment, folks. And that was it. So, folks, that was Dynamite. That was AEW Dynamite. A show as a whole, I gave the show as a whole a B. The show got a B. The show got a B. Where was Shibata? I don't know where he was. I don't know, but he was not in the segment. He wasn't in the segment. Okay, so as a whole, I gave the show a B. The show got a B, and that was the best I can do for it. All right, folks. It's time for some wrestling news. Let's get to it. Let's get to some wrestling news, shall we? Yeah, so legendary referee Mike Chioda has officially announced he is retiring from refereeing. Mike Chioda has been in the WWE for many years and many decades, and he was a legendary referee. I remember Mike Chioda in some of the most greatest matches, along with Earl Hebner and of course Chad Patton and all of them, and of course Mike Chioda was also with he also was refereeing with Tim White, the late Tim White, and everything else. So Mike Chioda's retiring, and I wish him the best. I wish Mike Chioda the best, and good luck with his life and his family. And he was a good person. He was a good referee. Mike Chioda was a good referee. That's another referee that yeah, and he should be in the Hall of. Yep, I agree. I agree. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the WWE. Him and Charles Robinson are two people that the WWE needs to put in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's who should go in the Hall of Fame. Mike Chioda and of course Charles Robinson. Charles Robinson and Mike Chioda needs to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Hands down across the board, I think that they belong in the WWE Hall of Fame. They were iconic referees, very iconic, especially Mike Chioda. I mean, his matches were something, nothing short of sensational. And then WWE let him go, and he was did a brief stint in AEW, and then he left that, and now Mike is going to retire, and it's great. Mike is great. Mike is great, and he was a great referee. I'll never forget his moment. Some of his great moments. Um, all right, folks. Let's talk about this fan for a second. I don't know if you. I never discussed about a fan before, WWE super fan, but this story really and truly got to me. And if you all remember on WWE TV, if you ever seen WWE TV, you always see a guy in a green shirt, the green shirt guy, they call him. I believe they call him that, the green shirt guy. He's always in WWE TV. I've seen him. I've seen him once or twice. Maybe not. Maybe not enough. But a lot of people know him. They know him. They've seen him. Okay, so Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reports that the green shirt guy is part of the special WWE on location program, which allows him access to the front row at every WWE show. The green shirt guy actually pays for a ticket via on location, hence, he's always in the best seat at WWE events. As per WL, the green shirt guy spends $100,000 and bought the elite platinum package at WrestleMania 41. Hence, he's got his own entrance on the show, and he also got to be the timekeeper. The green shirt guy is probably a millionaire, and he can afford that grand lifestyle. So that if you ever seen that green t-shirt guy, now you know what. Now you know how he gets into WWE events. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know about him. Now you know about him. If you ever see him next time, now you know the story about the green T-shirt guy. All right, let's talk about this for a second. I'm gonna. I'm gonna start a blue shirt from now on. Okay, Jerry. Cool. All right, folks, let's talk about this. A fan, a fan is suing the WWE. All right, let's get into it. All right. WWE is facing legal heat after a Pennsylvania man filed a lawsuit claiming he suffered a severe injury from a slip and fall during a Monday Night Raw event in Columbus, Ohio earlier this year. According to the newly filed 19-page complaint, William Ricks says that he slipped on an unmarked puddle of liquid or liquid like substance that was not open and obvious while walking near section 207 to 208 during the April 22 show. The incident reported left him with permanent pain and suffering, although the exact injuries haven't been detailed in the court filing. Rick is suing WWE and Columbus Sports Arena Entertainment, Ohio State University, which owns the arena, and the URMINC, health insurance provider, allegedly involved in covering some of his medical costs. So apparently, what did Jeffrey say? Maybe in the front row, Earl, you could wear a purple. I'm not Prince. so, so the lawsuit accuses the first three parties of negligence, failure to warn, and various liability, arguing that they owed the ticket purchasing audience, which a plaintiff was a member of the duty and a member of the premises, the waiter was hazardous, free of hazardous conditions. Okay, here's the thing that I don't understand. Okay, this guy is suing WWE because he fell in section two. What was it? In section 207 and 208. All right. You can't sue WWE. You can't sue WWE. You want to know why? Because this is not WWE's fault. This is the fault of the arena. If there was something spilled on the floor in the arena, the arena cleanup crew has to be alerted, and they can go to that section and mop it up. Now, um, they have on duty at all arenas around this country, all of the arenas, they have maintenance people. And the maintenance people that are on duty, they have, they have, um, they're walking on the floor, they are being alerted. So I don't understand why this guy did not alert arena security and say that there was a spill on the floor. I don't understand that. I don't understand why he didn't alert security to call maintenance to clean up the mess. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. I don't. If you try to sue WWE, you'll never win. Plus, it's not that. No, that's what I just said, Jeffrey. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Wasn't there a wet floor sign? I don't know. I don't know. But apparently this guy fell. He's suing WWE. I wouldn't sue WWE. I would sue the arena. But again, like I said before, if you see a mess, if you see a spill on the arena floor or around the arena or where you're going in the concession stand, you have to alert security so that they can call maintenance and mop that up so nobody would fall, slip and fall on it. And then there's always a sign that says the floor is wet. Be careful about that. They have them in arenas. They do. So I don't understand why this guy is doing this. I wish him that I don't think he's going to get anywhere with this lawsuit. I really don't think he's going to get anywhere. WWE is and their lawyers are not going to give this guy one dime. This guy has not seen one dime of anything WWE. Now, if he was hurt by a wrestler, if he was hurt by a wrestler, that's a different story. And you sued the WWE because a superstar put their hands on you, what they're not supposed to, then that's a different story. That's a different story. That you can sue WWE for. But in this instance, with the slip and fall, that's not WWE's fault. That's not WWE's fault. They rent the arena. They don't work for the arena. That's you're barking up the wrong tree here, folks. This guy's barking up the wrong tree. Um Seems like he wants some attention. Maybe, yeah. Mm. But you can't sue WWE because you fell in the arena. That you need to sue the arena, not WWE. You're not going to see a dime of this lawsuit. This is a frivolous lawsuit, and that's what they're going to call it. They're going to call it a frivolous lawsuit. You're not going to win. I'm telling you right now that this is not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry to say that, but this lawsuit is not going anywhere. You may get some compensation from the arena, you may get it, but from WWE, you're not getting a compensation from them. Absolutely not. No, you're not getting it. It's just not happening. I It's just not. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, their lawyers are too powerful, and they will make sure that you don't get a dime. And it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. Um, Also, watch where you're going. Yeah, that's another thing too. Maybe the guy, had some food and he was going to the concession stand and he was probably coming back to his seat when the incident took place. And I don't know. I don't know. But we'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on this and let you know if there's any developments on that. All right. Yeah. Okay, folks. Um, Wrestling News uh, Co. Wrestling News Co. The illegal streaming site Stream Meets, Stream Meets, which was popular destination for wrestling fans, has been shut down in a major global anti-piracy operation. The Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, in the collaboration with Egyptian authorities, announced the shutdown today. Ace Gold Stream East, the largest legal live sports streaming operation in the world, noting that it received over 1.6 billion visitors in the last year. The operation was disseminated following the raid in Egypt, where two men were arrested. So apparently, this legal streaming, illegal streaming that people were using to watch wrestling with is now no more. I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say this. You know, I understand things are expensive, and I understand the world is very expensive now. Everything's expensive, from ticket sales to cable to apps to everything else that you touch. Everything you touch, you're going to have to pay for it. And I understand that. But for goodness sakes, if you can't afford the streaming services, or you don't do legal, don't do anything illegal to try to stream wrestling. Um, I, I, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. If you can't afford it, or if it's expensive for you, then what I suggest you do, and what I think you should do, is that if you have somebody who is streaming the wrestling or streaming whatever, and they're watching it on pay per view. Let's say they're watching an AEW pay per view and you can't afford the pay per view. Go to their house. Go to their house and team up. Go to their house and team up and watch it with a group. It's fun to watch with a group when you have a group of people watching wrestling. It's fun. And then this way you can chip in. You can chip in very easily. You don't have to buy the most expensive things to bring to the person's house, but maybe you can buy a bottle of soda. Maybe you can offer to get the pizza, or maybe you can offer whatever it is. Whatever it is, you go to that person's house and you bring a housewarming gift, and you say thank you for ordering this, and here I want to contribute by giving you this, whatever it is. Yeah, so that I think works best for everybody. It's a win-win situation for everyone. You don't have to use illegal tactics to try to cheat the internet, and get it for free, because let's just face it, there are other people out there that buy streaming services, that buys pay-per-views, and when you use an illegal streaming service, you're ripping off you're not only you're ripping off the wrestling organization, but you're also hurting the fans who buy the pay-per-view, Yes, it's expensive. I understand it's expensive every month to get a pay-per-view. I understand it's expensive. I get it. But you don't have to use illegal tactics to do it, because now wrestling organizations out there are monitoring the internet. And you may not think they don't, but they do. And you go there and you want something illegally. Well, they can track that. They can track your movement. They can find out where you live. They can block you. They can absolutely block you from watching it illegally because you didn't pay for it. So I'm not into that. I only used to watch AEW and TNA on watch wrestling sites. Oh, okay. And Jeffrey said, chip in the beverage. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Uh, exactly. Or yeah, yes, King. Thank you so much. I agree. Yeah. You don't. Thanks, guys, for your comments. Um, you don't have to do legal tactics, because there are people that bust their behinds and they save up their coins and they save up their money to buy these pay-per-views and to want to watch these shows there. And then here comes this other person, and now they're streaming it for what? Why do that? Why do that? Go to somebody's house and have a big watch party. Go into somebody's house and you call up your friend. Don't tell me you. I know in the wrestling community, everyone has a neighbor, a friend, somebody that watches the show. Somebody that watches the show. You can invite everybody. You don't have to invite everybody. I'm sorry, I don't take that back. You don't have to invite everybody. But if it's a group of you, if it's a group of you that want to watch the stream and then watching the same show, well, go over to their house. Go over to their house. Give them something. You don't have to give them a lot of money. You don't have to give them a lot, but a little something to say thank you. Just a little something to say thank you, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And Jeffrey says, Earl, remember when WWE pay-per-views were so expensive? Yes, yes. Then we got the old WWE network. People were barking about WWE and how expensive their pay-per-view was. WWE then created their own network, and that became a $9 adventure. And that was a highly successful adventure for the WWE network. That became highly successful. Then they moved over to Peacock, and now they're going to ESPN. And listen, I understand, folks. I understand complicitly how expensive things are in this world. I get it. But please, please do me a favor, folks. Don't sit there and say because I can't afford it. I don't have the money. I'm broke. I'm going to do illegal because you don't want someone on the internet to go and track you or what, and they know that you didn't pay for the show and you're watching the show for free. You can jeopardize everything that you work hard for, and so people can shut down you. People can shut you down. So, watch the show. If you can't afford it, like I said, go to a friend's house. Go to a friend's house and ask around. Ask around. Ask around. Don't be shy. Ask around. Who's watching it? Who's watching this show? Who's watching that show? Ask around. You never know what you'll find if you don't ask around. But the only way you're gonna know if you don't ask. Jeffrey says, my mom and man, I used to have to go to WWE website just to find out what happened on Raw and SmackDown. The memories. Yeah. Yeah, I remember those times. But anyway, folks, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. That's just my opinion. And all right, let's just talk about this next story. All right. RingsideNews.com says that AJ Lee rumor mill has been officially causing chaos in the ticket market, with WWE fans speculating, hurting about the potential return this week. The September the 5th SmackDown show in Rosemont, Illinois, has seen a massive ticket surge despite no official confirmation from WWE. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you all. See, WWE as they did not confirm nothing about AJ Lee yet. Nothing has been official by WWE. Okay, now according to Wrestle Tickets on September the 3rd, just 64 seats remain out of the 15,356 set up at the Allstate Arena. That means that 15,292 tickets have been distributed already, and plus 453 sold in the last 24 hours alone. To put in perspective, the show crushes WWE's 2025 average of 11,352 fans per show. The cheapest seat left. The ticket prices are $530.90 resale, listed currently and sit at 240, with the obstructed view section under review for possible expansion. Sections 105 and 108 are being monitored for additional partial opening, and the section 206 and 207 may be tapped for extra obstructive use seating, indicating WWE could be preparing for a large crowd if the demands continue. So, let's see. They are trying to keep it hush hush. Yeah, well, I understand that, Jeffrey. I get it. I get it. They're trying to keep it, but like I said, folks, nothing has been confirmed by WWE. I have seen so many podcasters and so many people talking about this AJ Lee stuff, and again, like I said, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. I am not jumping on that bandwagon until I see her come out tomorrow night. I'm gonna do SmackDown tomorrow night from Rosemont, Illinois. We will have the telecast at 7:50. We will see what happens with AJ Lee if she comes on the show. If she comes on the show. But I'm not going to build up something that may not happen. So unless I see some evidence, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, and I'm not. I'm just not. But these tickets are ridiculous. $530 for a SmackDown show. That's expensive. That is expensive. Just because you think AJ Lee is coming, you're gonna plunk down $530. Wow, that's a lot of money, folks. Exactly. Until I hear light it up. Yeah, I'm not gonna jump up and down about it. If she comes out with that song and you see her skipping down the aisle, okay, now I can get on the bandwagon. And I said, oh my God, here comes AJ Lee. AJ Lee's coming out. This place is going bananas. Okay, then, okay, I'll believe it. But until I hear that song, until I see her come out that curtain, then I will believe it. Until then, I am not jumping on that bandwagon. I gotta see it before I believe it. All right, folks. Um. All right, folks. This is our final story of the night. This is our final story of the night, and it has Matt Riddle in it. All right. Hey, here's the thing. Um. Here's how I would book it. We see Punk in the back talking. We see Punk in the back, talking in the back, and CM Punk comes to the ring, cutting a promo. Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, yeah, I would book that with it. All right, folks. Ringside News again. Thank you, ringsidenews.com. Um, let's just talk about this. Matt Riddle is now going to scorch the earth on CM Punk once again, as he has now called out the Second City Saint for hanging out with Cora Jade, and even calling him a creep. While speaking on inside the ring, Matt Riddle turned his attention to CM Punk when he was asked about the backlash Punk had faced recently. Riddle didn't hold back, saying Punk wouldn't stand a chance against him in a real fight and could face him anywhere, whether it's bare knuckle boxing or MMA cage. Let's be honest. Did I lie? Punk's a PUS. Well, you know the rest. And he can't beat me in a fight. He wants to step up, and he can't meet me in a bare knuckle boxing fight. He can meet me in the MMA cage, whatever, dude. When the when the host asks about Punk being around NXT, Riddle says that he didn't like how much time Punk spent in the locker room and called him a creep. He mentioned that Punk is close with young wrestlers like Cora Jade, but says it feels like Punk is hanging around too much. I don't think I don't think he's fake. I don't think he's a creep. I don't know. I feel like he's just lingering around the NXT locker room a little too much. There's a lot of things about him. He has like Cora Jade, has his daughter and everything, and everybody he kind of oversees. The host called Punk a mentor in NXT, saying he became a mentor in NXT. Riddle answered with sarcasm and says that he doesn't see it that way. He's, as he said, there's one way of putting it. CM Punk and Corey Jade have very close relationship, but it's clear Matt Riddle sees a different way. Regardless, Punk Riddle's comments are definitely going to draw the ire of many people. So whether Punk, um, I, why Riddle is paying attention to Punk's business, I don't know. You know something, Jeffrey. You know something. Let me tell you something, folks. Matt Riddle is a mess. The man is a mess. He now he wants to mind Punk's business about Cora Jade and him in NXT. Don't worry about Cora Jade and Punk and NXT and all this kind of stuff. What you should be worried about, Riddle, is your life and getting it fixed. Because I'm going to tell you something. Matt Riddle is a mess. And I'm being honest with you. He's a mess. The man is a mess. And first of all, he quit WWE because he knew he was going to get fired from the company. He knew it. After the incident in the airport, and he accused the airport staff of sexually fondling him and all this kind of stuff he was doing, they knew the handwriting. He knew the handwriting was on the wall, and that's why he quit. He knew the handwriting was on the wall. He had too many incidences. He's on drugs. And I believe he does weed or whatever or whatever have you. And he's just a mess. And now he wants to mind the business of Punk and calling the man a creep and all this kind of stuff. The only creep here is you, Riddle. Because you're a creep yourself. I mean, what you did when you were in WWE was absolutely ridiculous. The incidences that you had backstage were ridiculous. Being high and wrestling high and all this kind of, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're calling somebody a creep. Did you look in the mirror? Have you looked yourself in the mirror? Calling the man the P word. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Jeffy. Pot calling the kettle black. Your name should be called Kettle. That's what your name should be. It shouldn't be that. It should be called Kettle. Because you're ridiculous. You're absolutely ridiculous. I find you to be ridiculous. I mean, what is Jeffrey said? Remember when he wanted to fight Goldberg and Rock? Yeah. Now he wants to fight and I think Riddle just wants attention. And I think that's what it is. Riddle just wants attention because he's out of the spotlight. His life is a mess. And he needs something to gravitate to and to hold on to. And now he wants to bash CM Punk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you don't feel that way, that's fine. That's fine. If you don't feel that way, I'm not going to say that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That's my point. Um, CM Punk is doing better than his high, but than his high behind. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't see Riddle getting signed to any organization. Any wrestling organization. I haven't seen him do anything. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me on that. But I haven't seen him do anything. I haven't seen him do anything. I haven't seen anything. Now he comes on and he wants to bash Punk. I mean, get out of here, Riddle. You need to sit down and take several seats. You really are. You really are. I'm not a fan of him. I fell out of love with Riddle. I really did. After reading everything, after what he did in the airport and being wasted, and it's just no bueno for me. It just doesn't do it for me. But if you're a fan of Riddle and that, listen, I'm not gonna jump on that. I'm not gonna jump on that. Earl, I did, Earl, I did over. I would have booked AJ Lee's. I would book AJ Lee's return. Yeah, yeah, sure. That sounds good. Never was a description. No, I wasn't. I'm not a fan of him anymore. I just. He's just a blowhard. I don't know what other words to use. He's a blowhard. I mean, you're sitting up there. You're criticizing someone. Look in the mirror. I mean, I would never sit there on my high horse and call someone a P or a creep or I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And you like a blowhard. That's what he is. He's a blowhard. I'm sorry. He's just. I don't know other words to use for Riddle. I don't know what to use for him. I'm just thoroughly disgusted with him and his antics. I'm just over it already. I'm completely removed from it. I'm just like enough already. Enough. I mean, if you don't, my late grandmother always used to have a saying. My late grandmother, may her soul rest in peace. She always used to have a saying: if you don't have nothing nice to say to someone, don't say anything at all. Just don't say anything. If you don't have nothing good to say about someone, if you don't like someone, keep your thoughts to yourself. Just keep your thoughts to yourself. You don't have to be so expressive all the time. You don't. And that's just my take on the whole thing. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you. All right, folks. All right. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for the wrestling experience. I want to thank you all in the chat. I want to thank you all for your time, your energy. I want to thank you all for all the likes, all the subscriptions, all the views, and everything else. You are a great wrestling community, and I like sharing my thoughts and my opinions with you each and every Thursday here on the Wrestling Experience. I'm going to be back in cyberspace tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. I'll be on the air at 7:50 with Friday Night SmackDown, and we're going to have fun with that telecast. It's going to be a very interesting Friday Night SmackDown, and we're going to see if a certain Lee will show up on Friday Night SmackDown. We'll find all that out tomorrow night at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. Until then, everyone, thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. I will see you tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown. Until then, everyone, peace and love. And take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. This was great. Thank you, Jeffrey. Take care of yourself, everyone, and each other. I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.